By 2020, you'd think that humankind would have figured out whether or not God exists. With all the science and philosophy, the fact is that neither of them can conclusively prove that God exists, nor can they disprove him. But they bring us to the fact that there should be a God. There must be something. So what do people from one of the most educated countries in the world think about God in the 21st century? Well, we asked, and Canada responded.
To be honest, I would feel like, why do I believe in him? That's a really good question. Let me think about that one more time.
I think a lot of people should be really praying and starting to talk to God, right?
It's not necessarily that I believe in God, it's that I believe in a higher power above us.
People need a lot more than just a Big Bang theory.
I certainly do believe there's a higher power of some sort. And we won't find that out until we cross, right? That's the way I look at it.
They say if you want to look into the past, look up at the starry night sky, because many of the stars you see aren't there anymore. And if you want to look into the future, look down at the soil, because that is the only guarantee of every person's tomorrow. There's this illusion in popular culture that science has explained God away, that God is something of yesterday, but he is very much alive in the lives of so many. Do you think we can be good if we take out religion? Some scientists today are saying that religion is the root of all evil.
I don't believe that. I believe there's got to be some religion, something to believe in. I'm hoping to have something to believe in, so I'm trying my best.
I believe in him because he exists. I believe in him because his way is the way of prosperity. His will is that none of us shall perish, but that all of us shall have eternal life.
It says spiritual implications of the new physics. I find it kind of some higher power coincidence, I guess, that was the day. This was the day that I put this in my bag, and this is the day that we're running into each other.
The fourth caliph of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, he said something interesting. He said, if you love the artist, then you must love his art. And if you love the creator, then you will fall in love with his creation. And so this idea of doing good is so connected to recognizing God. What do you say about that?
Oh, I totally agree with that. That's actually I've never heard what you just said before, but I think that's awesome. That's great. And I totally believe in that for sure. And those are great, yeah. If you believe, whatever that was great. And I totally agree with that.
And the things that have happened in my life, I do believe there is some higher power. If you want to use the word God, or it could be anything.
But if there is a higher power, there is a God, can we even be moral without religion? So we're on our way now to meet Professor James Brown, who was a professor of philosophy at the University of Toronto. And when I talked to him on the phone, he described himself as a militant atheist.
Militant atheist.
Yeah, and so he has got some really strong views on morality and God. And where do you think the origin of morality is, if it's not in religion?
Okay, now we're getting to probably the single most important question for an awful lot of people who are worried about the existence of God. There's a very widely shared belief, which you find in some philosophers and in some novelists like Dostoevsky, in the Brothers Karamazov, a very famous novel, where one of the characters, one of the brothers, says, look, if there's no God, then everything is allowed. I can rape, I can rob, I can do anything I like. It just doesn't matter. And therefore, if people give up belief in God, their society will just fall apart.
Right.
Yeah. So a lot of people, I think, seriously worry about this. And there are people who don't believe in God who actually believe it. And so they will support religion in a hypocritical sense. I don't believe it, but I need that guy to believe it, because I don't trust him unless it's his fear of hell that keeps him from picking my pocket.
Right.
Yeah. I disagree. I think, the Bible states clearly what our morals should be.
It's really fascinating to me because Islam says that you cannot be considered a believer in God until you want for your fellow human being what you want for yourself. That's just the fundamental concept of religion.
Religious practice is as good as the humans who are practicing it. And probably it can be interpreted in good and bad ways.
Well, I think there's something out there. I just don't think we're the creation of something.
Imagine that the Big Bang was an explosion, right? So imagine that I said that there was an explosion at a library, and as a result of the explosion, a dictionary came out of that, was formed. It's not conceivable. The universe screams purpose and intelligence. A millionth of a second after the Big Bang, the fundamental forces were determined within 1,000th of a decimal, on which life depended billions of years later. A single change and boom, no hydrogen, no stars, no water, no life. Science and philosophy show us that there should be a God, but only personal experience demonstrates that he is. So why not sincerely search for God? Because if God exists and we connect with him, wouldn't that be the greatest treasure of all? But if we don't, could there be a greater loss?